A long way too far.
And next speaker is Ms. Andersdotter from the Greens.
Thank you, Chairman, for allowing me this time to ask the Commission a question. It's quite detailed. So every year since 1989, the Office of the United States Trade Representative has drafted a so-called Special 301 report evaluating the intellectual property rights framework of third countries. Countries identified by the Special 301 reports may be subject to trade retaliations from the US government until such a time as the United States Trade Representative is satisfied that the protection is adequate. Now, sometimes the United States indeed puts up individual member states from the European Union on this Special 301 report. And I asked, together with a colleague, a written question that I assume was responded to by your directorate, DG Trade. And this reply is nonsense. It says the Commission already tried to remedy these lists in 1999, okay, and the WTO panel at the time said something blah, 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 but basically the 301 reports are okay as long as the sanctions are pushed through, as long as actual real sanctions are pushed through the dispute settlement body at the WTO. However, the Special 301 reports still provide a very important diplomatic tool for the United States Trade Representative to put pressure on individual member states to, well, fragment actually the copyright system of the internal market, which I think there is already large consensus is already fragmented enough. Now, the basis for the action that the Commission used in 1999 was that we didn't have a harmonized enforcement agreement inside of the European Union. And now, apparently, your directorate replies to me that since 2004 we have harmonized civil measures, therefore everything is okay. But in fact, the United States still lists 4 countries from individual member states from the European Union in 2012 on their Special 301 report, all of which have already implemented the 2004 directive on intellectual property rights enforcement. And it is known that Spain, which did also apply the intellectual property rights enforcement directive prior to 2011, was still on the list in 2011 and had to go beyond the measures advocated by the Union in the directive in order to be removed from the list. And it would seem to me urgent that the Commission devises a strategy for dealing with the Special 301 reports in their relations with the United States, because otherwise we'll end up not only with an extremely detrimental and fragmented exceptions and limitations scheme in Europe, but also with a potentially even more detrimental fragmented enforcement regime, and that would be, at least in my opinion, a very bad start for the digital information age. So basically my question is whether or not you intend to address this issue with the United States during your deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then, Madam Andersdotter, we have tried to find an answer to your very detailed question. Of course, I took note of your attachment to a vigorous enforcement of IPRs on the Internet, despite your opposition to ACTA. We disagree with the US listing or member states such as Spain, which comply with their international commitments on IPR. As long as the US does not impose unilateral measures on our member states, there is not much we can do. They can always produce a report. I mean, what can we do about that? It is a topic we could discuss with our American counterparts, and we will do that. And by the way, we also list the USA in our own IPR survey of third countries, for example, the cases on the Irish Music and Havana Club and others. But apart from that, we cannot forbid them to produce reports.